Hi, you've clicked on this video because you want to get a full head of hair back and you're wondering if this shit's for real or not. And I'm going to tell you that it is, but you can say goodbye to surfing, diving into pools, standing in the breeze. Unless you do it properly, in which case it's probably going to be okay. At the moment, glue is a little bit susceptible to changing when it's hot. So if you live in a hot climate, people say it's still possible to get things like no sweat to spray onto your scalp before you put glue on, and then it'll stay on for about 4 weeks. Now I bought some hair from overseas. This is cut from the heads of the dead. Well, they're not using it anymore, so they've basically scalped these people, and I buy it in a 6-inch by 13-inch square like this. But you can just use roadkill. If you find a dead animal by the side of the road, that's fine. You can use that too. This is what the stitching looks like, and here's what it looks like through my finger. I mean, my finger through the knots. Now looking at this, we want to make sure that the knots where the little hairs are tied to the fly screen, it has to be, can that be focused? Anyway. You want them to be bleached with blonde bleach. The manufacturers should do that and they charge you a little bit extra, but you have to have it done. Otherwise it looks like doll's hair, really. And it's not perfect daylight in here because it's only 5:40 in the morning. But I sort of fear that this one, which I'm about to put on my head, is not bleached properly. Now I've cut this out of this because this is going to fit my ugly head. I don't want to walk around like a nobody. And I can tell you from my experiences as a sociologist that I get treated much worse when I don't have hair. I go into a bar with my friends, they get hit on, and girls are just like, yeah, hi, they don't want to know me, right? But then I do this, and they don't know. They don't fucking know. They're stupid, right? Well, yes, they are. They're all stupid, okay? But this makes things better. You can convince them. Who you can't always convince are smart people. Unfortunately. Or people who've known you for a very long time. However, you can move cities, and those people won't know you. That's always a good idea when doing this. Now I need to make sure this is recording so I don't shave my head in vain and regret this. Normally, throughout the whole summer, I wear my hat. So that when I shave my head and put this back on, people think I've just had my hair back, right? Okay, let's have a closer look at my hairline. Can you see? I think it's male recessive. A scary thing to face at the beginning. It's better to catch this kind of early, but what I'm about to do, shaving all this bit off, is something you need balls to do. Because the first time I did it, I was freaking out. So what I'm going to do with this dry razor, okay, is shave all of this off, looking in the mirror. I'll leave it recording for you. In fact, I'll use this timer to show you how long it takes altogether. Can't really hang it anywhere, but you can see. I can't tell on this tiny screen if that's possible to see that. At any rate, it's there for you. So I'll just pick it up and show you what I haven't done. But anyway, you'll be watching me if you can bother not fast forwarding through this video. So I just mess around with this. Okay, so I need to put this dead animal here. Now that's just such long hair to be putting here. It's like short and then long. How's that going to work? well, it won't. I'll brush it back, which is scary because you kind of want that fringe to hide the glue line. Now I'll probably use this glue, which is messy, like mozzarella cheese, or I could use this one, which is a bit weaker. It's very important that you're not sweating during this process, but each day this week's been about 40 degrees Celsius. I don't know what the hell that is in old man speak, but yeah, 40 degrees, right? Here we go. Start the timer. How long do you reckon? I think about an hour. So anyway, you can see the link to this video before I even know what it is. You know more about this video than I do already. Start. The other thing that's very important to do is to not be fat. It's more important to be fit as far as girls are concerned. Fit and bald is better than fat and have hair. Okay? The other thing, you don't want freckles. Hide that shit. Long sleeves. I've been cursed with gingivitis. Gingeritis maybe. Red hair. Sorry, I can't use this phone, it's not good enough. No, so I'm just going to use my little finger to sort of guide me around where the baldness is. And hopefully this will fit. You don't want a gap, that sucks. And I haven't got any hair length here to brush it over. Of course, this is the shape I cut. If your hair recedes back to there, all the way around to where mine's probably going to go, these things kind of need to be heat pressed over a fake skull or something. I don't know how they do it. And then this fly wire stretches itself to conform to the shape of your head. But for me, it's just this flat area here. And so this is the shape that's the shape I cut. It's like a leaf. That's the front hairline, and this is what the shape is up at this point here. I've cut it the same way for about 2 years. So hopefully I will be doing it correctly again right now. I count this all the time, this thinking about it time, right? Here we go. Now that bit there is too thin, I'm not going to keep any of that in there. I'm going to have to start cutting these things differently soon as I recede further and further back. Okay. Don't really want to do this. I'm going on a boat tomorrow with some people, but there'll be hot girls there, and I know I'll get no reaction like this. I might get a reaction like this, but I'll tell you what, the hat pisses me off. This is seeming to get more attention as well. Younger looking, but the fat face and the wrinkles, look, dead tooth. No, the hair has to exist. And after this, I'll go for a walk along the beach. Oh shit, it's too hard because it's just been such a long time since I've done it. And now it's sort of hard to tell. You know what? I'll start with this. Shit, I can't believe I'm doing this. I told myself it would be okay. Just be natural, shave your head. But I always end up wearing a hat the whole time. I hate it. Yeah, that's a really scary thing to do the first time you ever do it. Really scary. But when you're that bald, you're like, I'm going to shave my head anyway, so let's just give it a shot before I shave my head. It's a few $100s. And you can get a little, you start off with a sample kind of thing, and then you can buy more hair. And be confident you want to do this all the time. I hope I told you I was joking about it being full of dead people. It's not roadkill or dead people hair, okay? It's Indian people hair. And they can dye it to whatever colour you want, including blonde. And they can tell you, they can make it to the amount of waviness you want, whether it's curly or straight, the length of the hair itself, the amount of hair. Usually most people get a hairpiece, just one hairpiece, and they just keep sort of cleaning all the glue off it and just putting it back on. But I find they kind of deteriorate, and you kind of need to replace it with a fresh one. So I get I got 2 of those massive sheets of 13 by 6 every month. So I get about 5, sorry, every 2 months. So I get about 5 hair pieces out of each of those sheets by kind of sort of drawing a stencil. I don't use a stencil. You need to use a stencil that's the inverse of that, and then just trace around that with a texter or a Sharpie, or whatever you call it, marker, and yeah, I can fit about 5. But like I said, I'm probably going to have to extend that to make it a bit larger next time. The netting does stretch, by the way, though, but not enough. You need to measure. So how do you measure? I got it wrong a bunch of times, so don't ask me. You're supposed to sort of put a plastic Glad wrap around your head and then tape it, and then you're supposed to send that to the factory, and I'll just put that over a skull and fix it up and make your hair from that. But it's much more economical to cut it yourself from a rectangle of hair. So yeah, that's become a bit more bald, I think, since on that side it seems a bit more balding in there since last time. My approach was always to push the hair over this hair so it blended. That always works, right? It always works. And that means that even if the front hairline looks a bit gluey, you can conceal it. Okay. Now I'm going to just use some wet wipes, baby wipes. And wipe sweat and little hairs off my forehead. After this, to make the glue stay, you're supposed to be in a cool environment, like air-conditioned room or cold climate room, and not get your hair wet. Basically, don't get the glue wet, so that it can have time to melt to your head. That little bit there might need to be shaved off. I'm not sure if this lighting's any good. I'm not sure. I'll just see what I can do with that. Also, get some Juvederm injected in there if you haven't got big lips. See, I don't enunciate enough. I don't smile enough. Imagine me going out with this. Hey, ladies. No. Yeah. All right. Now, what I would normally do, my hair's usually long enough before I shave it all off like a fool, thinking that having a bald head is fine, when it's really not. Not when you go to a bar. So if you go to bars, clubs, anything like that, or walk around in public, for that matter, yeah, you might attract some of the girls over 40, but if you're planning on having kids, then you kind of need to attract the younger ones. So you just basically trick them into thinking you've got hair until they love you, and then you go, haha, ta-da, but remember you love me, right? Where are you going? This is what I would normally use to keep that hair out of the way of the glue that I'm about to put on. And I'm going to let it be a bit messy there, I think. Probably shouldn't actually, I probably should just clean it. The sun will rise in a second, you'll be able to see better. I just hope it's not too far back. So I've cut this shape, so it's like a parallelogram, I don't know, and then at the front it's got the clean line there. I have cut others. This looks a little, don't ever get the plastic one, look at that, you can tell through it, it's awful. Listen to it. I don't know what they're thinking when they sell that shit, it's useless. It must be netting. Lace, it's called. It feels like you're not wearing any hair at all. I mean, it feels like you're wearing nothing. You can't tell, you can't feel it, right? It feels natural, which is amazing. It is. And when the glue is mixed with that stuff, the glue level rises to the same height. Say that's 1/2 millimeter thick, or less than 1/2 millimeter probably. And then it's flat right across the board in your head. If you use the wrong type of glue, you'll see shine through it. So probably don't leave the house in the first day you do it. Or don't wear a hat because it wrecks. It makes the hairs stick in. It's just not very good to wear a hat. And it heats up your head. So once again, just stay home and have an air conditioner blast in your face for a day. You don't need, just be reasonable about it. Let me see. I'm going to use this stuff because I'm already sweating. Well, there's hot lights as well, but I'm going to use this stuff. Yeah, focus, you motherfucker. It doesn't want to focus. Okay, pro sweat, no sweat. Okay. I should probably endorse these products a bit more editorially, so I have some chance of getting a bit of sponsorship later on. I'll let you know how No Sweat from Pro Touch goes afterwards. No Sweat by Pro Touch. Buy it today. I don't know if it'll work, to be honest. I haven't tried it much, especially in summer. It's been very bloody hot. This might have, I think it's okay, but you see how it started flipping around at the edges here? You see how it's gone a bit in and out, because I've stretched it when I put it over my head last time. I think I must have peeled the glue off this one. It's not ideal to do that. And a lot of people who have grey hair donate their hair, so I get a few greys sometimes in my hair when the audit goes wrong, which I probably should get used to because I'm 38, so. Well, I mean, why should I get used to it? I'm advertising that you shouldn't be bald. Why would I advertise that you should be grey? Because, you see, having a full head of hair is never unnatural. Well, people die of old age with a full head of hair. But nobody dies of old age with a full head of brown hair. They go grey. So having a bit of grey doesn't seem very significant compared to being bald. I mean, Richard Gere, he's done well with the ladies, right? Probably Steve Martin as well. This no sweat stuff is it feels like it's making me sweat. That's not a good endorsement. Well, it could just be that it's wet and this room is too humid. Just pushing on to 15 minutes of time wasting. What have I achieved so far? I've achieved shaving my head, checking that it's kind of shaved enough, and applying No Sweat by Pro Touch. Now the next step is, well, I've got to dry my head. This isn't, it's almost 6 o'clock. I'm going to use a hairdryer. Set to cool. Yeah, I didn't used to use this. I didn't used to have one. It's so much better. This is, yeah, refrigeration is now happening. Dry enough. Now, there's something I need to do, but I was hoping to show you at the end. I need to press this hair against my forehead to see if it fits. It better fucking fit. Alright, I've sort of brushed it backwards a little bit, so it's going to be sort of effectively a little bit how it's going to kind of look when it's applied to my head. There's a bit of glue stuck in there from 3 or 4 months ago in the hairs, so you don't want that, but you can't go ripping the hairs out because it ruins what we call the piece. Okay, I'm just going to measure this up a bit. No, fuck it, go without. I know what I'm doing, sort of. No, this is the mozzarella one. Great, I'm sweating again. I think this thing's making me sweat the most, actually. I don't know what the hell they put in that, but it's going to be stuck under this glue for a few weeks. This is too gluggy. It's supposed to drip off, and it does the first day you get it, then it gets more and more less runny, which is bad. It'll cause clumps. This one is mostly empty. Better have some glue. I'm not walking around like this, that's a fucking shot. That's not good. Alright. Walker Ultra Hold. This stuff works unless the temperature of the air is more than warm. It's better than that, but I wish there was something even better, but there's not. I feel embarrassed now because I'm making a dickhead out of myself. However, this will help you with life. Okay. Just put a blob in there in the middle. You don't want these little hairs to get in there, but they fucking will, alright? They will. And they're too short to sort of wet and sort of slick out of the way. But it really wrecks it when they're in the way, when they get in the glue, and they will this time because they're so short. Oh man, this stuff drips off all over the place, okay? But this viscosity, or whatever you want to call it, the amount of runniness, means that it's going to work better than if it was thick, which is what happens if it's exposed to air. So put the lid right back on as soon as you can. In fact, try to get smaller bottles. You know when you get a 2-litre bottle of Coca-Cola and you're like, what the fuck did I buy this massive thing for? It's flat already. That's the same principle. It's better to be 1.25 litre. Or whatever the weirdo spec is in some of those other countries that use the imperial system. Don't forget these edges on the side. That's a major fixation point. Now, it'll take me a while to ease back into getting this done. Can you see what's happening there? I hope somebody watches this so I'm not going through this pain on my own. Alright. How do I know where the glue line has to go to? Because I'm used to it. That's all. If it's one of your first times, don't just guess like this. There is a little bit of stubble left from where I shaved, so I can sort of see where the front middle point of the hairline kind of needs to go. About there. And you see how it's really thick at the moment? That's because I haven't brushed it in properly yet. It can't be that thick. There are other glues that you can get that are sort of cream white. You can just use your fingers and dip it in and wipe on your forehead. They're water based. I don't know how the hell they stay on your head when you go for a swim though. Or sweat at all. This is acrylic adhesive as opposed to water adhesive. You've got to use is it acetone to get it off? I've forgotten all the terms now. I used to read about it a lot. But since I've been bald, I've become very depressed and lonely because nobody wants to hang out with me anymore. So I've forgotten. Because bald people have no friends. Okay. But of course, they have more friends than people who are evidently wearing a fucking dead animal on their head. Okay? So don't let anyone know that you're wearing this until somebody comes out of the closet who's a celebrity, and then it becomes okay. But, you know, Tom Cruise came out of the closet about being a Scientologist, and that didn't really that didn't really up the status of the religion so much as destroy him. So learn from that. These chunks of glue in this hair is bloody annoying. Really. What you should have are tweezers to get this out. Otherwise your hands and fingers it can get very messy. You don't want that to happen. If hair is still on your head and you just put glue all over it, which is what you think, I'll just fucking try that first. I don't shave the front of my head off, I'm not crazy. You can try it, but that netting is basically, you know, it's kind of invisible when put against skin. And I think that would apply even if you had black skin, because I think it's sort of clear. But it's no longer clear when there's hair underneath it, because it hasn't sort of melded in with the glue somehow or something. I don't think it's Caucasian skin coloured netting. I think it's just clear. So it should, I mean, of course, if it was Caucasian coloured, then obviously they'd sell different skin toned netting for different races of people. I don't think they sell it for different races of dog though, like golden retriever sort of style. Though I think because, you know, if you shaved a golden retriever, you know, your poodle doesn't have enough hair in time for the big day, then you probably could still get poodle style hair and, you know, glue it on. So his, you know, little paw from having an injection on his forearm when, you know, he lost the last, you know, jumping dogs show prize or something, and you changed your mind at the last minute because he whelped in such a way that indicated he'd try better next time, and you say this is your last chance. So he's got that little rectangle of fur missing off his front right paw from the euthanist, the euthanasia-ist. Ouch. I'm just kidding, it's not ouch, it's fucking, well, it's too thick. I buttered my forehead good. Anyway, that's too thick. It will cause peeling kind of problems after. So be more careful than I was, and probably best to not use this brush that comes with it. That's just nonsense. That the worst application I've ever done in my whole life. Look at that. See, because it was so thick and my forehead has no sweat on it. Maybe that's what it is. It's like repelling the glue. That never happens unless I'm sweaty as well. It's because I'm sweating so much from that nose sweat or whatever's happening here. This doesn't happen ever, okay? I've got to never use that stuff again. Now, this problem, getting your fingers caught up in all this shit, is why you must have baby wipes. Do not use tissues, they will get to your fingers. Look, the tissue does not stay affixed because it's very, well, I think it's cotton. I don't know what it's made out of, but it doesn't stick to your fingers like toilet paper. I'll have to go over there again. By the way, errors occur nearly every time you do this, whether it's the hair getting caught in or up there on the top there, as you can see it's happening. Well, that's just ridiculous. That's peeling right off. Your head is really supposed to be prepared properly, but advice on websites tell you that you're supposed to put no sweat on, but don't follow that advice. I have no idea why it doesn't. Let's stay on. This is a bit of a tragedy, but there will always be some sort of problem that'll piss you off about this whole process. But to be honest, I haven't done it for months. And also I think I should clean that brush using this, because the brush itself might be grabbing things. And I can feel myself getting pretty sweaty from the heat of, well, the weather. It's just hot. And I don't have an air conditioner in the bathroom. But I do have a hairdryer. I don't know if you can see this properly, what's happening here, but it's a really messy job. I'm just trusting that that little phone screen is actually filming stuff that's not visible on its tiny little screen, because where's this double? So what I'm basically doing is gluing in the same shape as that hairpiece. And it should just line up and stick on. That is something you should do to avoid just sticking on prematurely. When it's askew, you need to spray alcohol. And that's another thing you need in your arsenal before you even begin. You must have alcohol, which will evaporate and allow the glue to reapply. However, if you can do it accurately without using alcohol, it will stick better. The alcohol kind of weakens it, in my experience. Shit. Stay. Fuck. Oh. That's really bad. It's never been so bad at sticking to my head. If this messes up while I'm out in public or the wind blows, you know who I'm going to sue? These people. Motherfuckers. No sweat. It's the whole reason it's falling off, because I'm sweating like a fucking pig. It doesn't stop you from sweating, that's for sure. Alright. This was supposed to be a nice video about how to apply glue so that other people could learn and maybe be convinced to shave their heads and stick this stuff on their face. This is part of the face, isn't it? The scalp thing. If you want to divide the head into sections on the exterior crossed area, I'm not going to the brain or the skull. The teeth is part of the skull, isn't it? And apparently the eyes are part of the brain. Here, look at my brain. Need to work on my comedy, my facial expressions. I've been a recluse and haven't had much social experience for months while I sat there being bald. So now it's time for me to go back out in public, and I'm not fucking going out there without either a hat or hair, one or the other. And the hat's getting hot, and I know that the hair doesn't really feel hot at all. The only problem is wind, or even a slight breeze, and maybe even the whole thing about everybody who saw me yesterday saw me without hair, and now I'm gonna have hair, like some toupee wearing loser. This is the problem. However, this more important trip next week will be, in 2 days, will be with people I hardly know, or people I've never met. So therefore, they haven't seen me for ages, or have never seen me, and thus, if I keep my head shielded against any breeze the whole day, then I should be able to get away with it. But why the fuck am I doing that? I should just walk around bald and free, right? Maybe. I could have just gotten used to it. But I tell you what, I got such bad reactions from people, and I get much better reactions from people when I'm a fake, when I'm a big fat phony. I get better reactions even still if I'm a thin, fit phony. It is possible to get the right combination of glue and scalp preparation that will make it stay on without worrying about the breeze. But I wouldn't really know how to do it. I'm sort of counting on the fact that people don't stare at other people's hairlines. And if it's not mega obvious, then you're being unnecessarily paranoid. But I do think you should be somewhat paranoid, because it is possible that your hairpiece has revealed itself. Especially if you've got a hairpiece that's too small or too big. Apparently for fingers above the eyebrow is the right height to start from. And I guess they mean when they're midway relaxed kind of thing. I think what I've got is accurate, because that's when my natural hair would have stopped anyway. But don't be 3 fingers, that's way too low, say. Or 5 fingers, clearly. Unless you want to. And also it's better if the hair comes up like that in your design, even though it would stay better if it went down like a child. It should go up like that. In fact, that looks like a dead straight hairline when it's on. That's the next thing to work on. Well, at least now I will be able to, because I'll be able to go outside in public and go for a walk after this dries. What does it mean by dries? What does it mean? It means 15 minutes in a cool room, so that if you press your finger down, it's tacky. You feel it, but it won't lift at all. That's what they mean by dry. It's not actually dry. If you apply the hair before the glue is tacky instead of wet, before the glue is dry, then the glue will penetrate through these little holes and clog all this top hair together. It'll penetrate through the holes and ruin the hairpiece permanently. You can't get glue out of the hair. It's a big globby bit, see? That's where I painted it too thick. That will eventually dry, so I'm not ready yet to apply the hair. Putting your hair on is a good time to sort of stop and reflect and plan your life. I've been thinking this place is a bit of a dump, I might move out soon. Another important ingredient I haven't spoken to you about is a comb. It's very important. This helps you get glue out of your natural hair up here. When I say glue doesn't come out of hair, it doesn't come out of the hair piece. It will come out of your natural hair, but not easily. Well, kind of easily, but not in the way that would be totally perfect. Oh. And see how I've missed a bit of, oh, gee, that really doesn't, see the glue hasn't even stuck to my head properly because that no sweat stuff. That will be a hair falling off point. And that's really bad when it starts peeling up there because it's very difficult to get glue back up there. In fact, you should take the whole thing off if that happens and do it again. I'm sorry if this phone isn't filming things the best way possible, but it's very difficult for me to look in the mirror and film myself at the same time. And of course, because I'm bored, I don't have any friends. So, oh, fuck you. That's fucked. And it's all wet, really sweaty underneath, really, really sweaty. The rest of my head, not sweaty. Under here, very sweaty. And that never happens. So don't ever, ever buy this product. 42 minutes in. Don't worry, this is common. Just have to start again. Sweating like a pig under here. See the bits where I actually wiped off most of the no sweat? That's where it's not sticky. That's where it's not sweaty. I can't believe how bad that product is. It's ridiculous. Absolutely shocking bad product. Should be taken straight off the market. It's a pity, I had hopes in that. At least now you get to see me play with how the glue feels after you, when you clump it together. Usually it's stuck so well to your head that this couldn't possibly happen, right? But not when you use that product. And people might say, well, you didn't do such and such before you applied that product. Bullshit. I've done this a million times and this lack of stickiness has never happened before. It's never been this bad at all, no. So, I'm telling you as an observer with hundreds of fixation attempts in the past, that glue has never peeled off my head that easily, ever before. It's the sort of thing you'd expect if your head was basically wet straight out of the shower before applying the glue. It's just shocking, okay? So, what I will do, is wash my head in the shower here. Just fast forward to the end result. For God's sake, this is just too boring. That's what I usually do. I put alcohol on my forehead, rub it in with my fingers, and now it's kind of cleaner than just coming out of the shower. It kind of, in my mind, mixes with anything that's liquidy and just evaporates it away with itself. I'm not sure if that's happening, but it seems okay in my head like that, okay? And we're 48 minutes in. So far, preparation time's taken 48 minutes. And whatever I was supposed to go to, I've missed. But I make sure that the day is clear and I don't have to work or see anybody at all that day. If you can't do this, then I don't know how you're going to deal with changing your hair, because even after it's applied, it'll be shiny underneath. Okay. Let's try that again. This time we'll use this one. Much thinner glue. Usually not as strong though. And the brush has been made too short with this product to reach the bottom. It's not saying much for the company, is it? Anyway, I can't be bothered with the mozzarella cheese bullshit and this fucking product. Can get fucked. Alright. Well, that's a much easier to apply glue. Much easier. Just so much easier. You put it on the side like that to get the last streaks out, right? Because they didn't make a brush that was good enough for its own product. It really is super easy to apply this glue. Probably super easy for everything to fall off as well, because it's just... Ultra Hold's the only thing that's ever worked for me. Long term. This one actually gives you instructions to put 3 or 4 layers on. I think what they're talking about is over the period of 1 hour, wait 15 minutes between each coat, and just slowly and laboriously go back and keep pasting that shit in layers over the top of itself. Though it's called priming in a way. What you're basically doing, that actually does make sense theoretically, because your forehead is covered in little pores, and the first layer would kind of fill them in. That would sort of grip into those holes. Each time I put this in, it feels like there's no glue on there. It's just so, the brush is absolutely useless. It's really thin. I can get such a small amount on, but I mean, it gives me accuracy, but I'm just starting out, so I need to get a bit more on it. It won't let me. I've got it's like a lady's applicator for nail polish or something. But it sure is easy to apply, and it's very clean. Not like the cheesy Ultra Hold. Just like mozzarella. This one's more like, well, I can't think of, egg white. But less than egg white. Egg white mixed with, you know, a ratio of 1:1 water, probably. So if you stir an egg white into 1:1 into water, the same amount, then it should be about this consistency. I assume you're watching this on YouTube or some sort of video website. While you're here, in the mood for watching really long videos, check out Earthlings documentary. It'll change your life and hopefully the life of many others around you, and stop you from being a really evil person. Potentially even inspire you to become a hero. Not some hero who just chases a ball around a field, but a real life-saving hero. Because the world needs them. Yes, I'm recommending you become a vigilante. Break the law to achieve what the government, our representatives, and the men with guns and women with guns that they employ to use force to make changes cannot accomplish. Use force. Why? Because war is not the worst thing there is. War is when somebody's being simply annihilated and then somebody else defends them. Now there are two sides, and so that's defined as war, see? So war is a massive step more peaceful than just simple, pure annihilation. Annihilation is the worst. People haven't learned to understand that difference between war and annihilation yet, but if it wasn't for war, then master races would just dominate us all and we would be completely under dictatorship at all times. You really do need to fight for freedom and for the freedom of the weak. I know this is a strange thing to hear coming from some bald guy, but don't worry, you'll respect me when I have hair, which will be in hopefully less than 10 minutes. I will follow the advice of the bottle and at least put on a second coat if I have any of this stuff left. By the way, I'm going to wear my hair backwards for the first few weeks while that hair that's short on my head grows long enough to cover and meld together with that. See, this is not coming off like it did with it's a different glue, I understand, but that no sweat stuff was shit. I've run out of this. I'm gonna see if there's some more. Thank goodness, it was in the bottom of the drawer. Okay. Now look at that. It's like almost like water, really, when it starts out. So I'm going to put on the second coat now. It's like it just glistens on. Once the first coat is down, it just really just glistens on easily. Glides on, I should say. You Aussies need to work on your act and your vocabulary. It's true, we don't have good vocabularies in this country. We use the word thing a lot. You hear an American asking for somebody to wind the window down, and they'll talk about the crank. Can you wind that? Could you do me a solid and wind that crank right there? Thanks so much. Wind that crank right there. We'd just click and point until somebody went, what, this? No, that thing there. Do a circle with it. I'm not kidding, that's just how we talk here. So I do apologize. And I have been watching American television, so I should know better. However, I haven't been talking. You need to talk, practice talking, in order to get better at it. I mean, you can hear a lot of people sing, but that doesn't mean you make you a good singer. You need to actually rehearse your face movements to get there. The tongue and the teeth inside the mouth, that's part of the face, isn't it? Or we're getting to the head now. How many zones of the head can you think of? Okay. Just checking that wasn't glue. This hair here is just too small to be brushing it forward anyway. I'll be wearing a hat nearly at all times. I won't go in the water like a fool with salt attacking the glue. I wouldn't trust it. So I will be brushing it back, probably sort of fringe, and adding the hat. Why am I bothering to wear hair if I'm going to wear a hat anyway? Well, glad you asked. So that people get used to the bits of times when you sort of lift your hat a bit for some cool air or something like that. I don't think I could get away right now with being seen by the same people I see kind of all the time with suddenly having full head of hair. So therefore, the hat, gives them a little curve, as we say, at what my head looks like underneath. And there just happens to be some hair, so, as there always was before. Getting a finger is son of bitch. It's hard to get out. You must use wet wipe for this one. I should have played the role of old MacDonald. I had a farm. Yeah, Australian accent, man, it's shit. I shouldn't have ever taken it on in the first place. But if I invented some other accent from, beings with mouths that went in like that, and eyelids that closed that way too, people would think I was silly. You basically got to choose one of the accents that exists on the earth at the present moment. Otherwise you're a freak. I think it's time for me to conform a bit. Trying to be alternative your whole life is really not the best way to go. Basically what you're choosing is incompatibility with society. And while it seems like a boastful ambition of a young teenager in school, when you get older and realise that you are mocked for being alternative at all times, you've either got to find other mocked alternative people who are usually borderline delusional, have crazy ideas. Some of them are okay, of course. But we're talking about the sort of people who are into astrology and outdated like alchemy and stuff like that. We're talking about just people who do not understand knowledge. It's not an evil thing. It's just we've discovered things over the last few hundred years and we've discarded some of the rubbish. But these people hold on to it like the Amish, basically. So those people are happy and shaking tambourines and shit. You might want to join once in a while. Go visit them, sure, but don't fucking stay there and be brainwashed. Because they are so closed-minded to even facts, okay? They're closed-minded about nearly everything, but most of all, they're closed-minded to facts. I would edit this all, but it allows me to track how long it takes. So lift things, walk. And I wouldn't even have heard, I might just do that. Holy fuck, you are ugly. When you put your hair on, it's not allowed to look in the mirror at your ugliness as well. There's an injection here, go to the fucking gym there. The materialistic people of the world are right. Be vain. It's the only way anyone's going to give you any respect. Nobody cares about ugly people. You're sweating. Can't exercise anymore. I don't trust this glue. But for today, I'm just going to try it out, get myself back into the swing of it, put this on right now. First of all, you got to check that there are no hairs coming up through the bottom, because that will interfere with the stickiness and so on, etc. Get rid of those. Do not try to shave them off, because you will shave the ties, the little knots in there off. So you can't do that. Don't do that. That's the front hairline. Let's see how this goes. Feels like it needs a few more layers. Now, this stuff cannot be insulted as a product of this company. It's fine, because it's simply alcohol. You can drink it if you want. Don't drink it. Has that chemically hospital smell to it. So let's have a look at this. I'm going to put this on my head. How do I find the middle? I guess I'll know. I'm going to just put my little finger in there and pull it apart. And that seems kind of middle enough. I'm on a time limit here with that alcohol drying. Getting a feel for where it's supposed to go, having a look there as well. When the alcohol dries up, the glue started to move around all over the place. I'll move that there. Worry about that up there a bit more. How's that going back there? Does it fit? Does that fit? Kind of. Basically kind of fits, basically. I did spray, I put some water in a spray. I think this is water, so I'm going to put that on there for a second. Water in a spray container is very, very useful. The good thing about this glue, even though it might not actually work if you go surfing or something, is that you can probably just change it quickly. It'll be much easier to use than that other ultra hold glue. In fact, it's coming for it, you know. It does need time to adhere, but I don't think I used the right amount of glue. It seemed like I do really need 3 or 4 layers, but as I said, I'm going to wear my hat over the top, not risk the wind blowing it off. But when the wind is still, I'll check in some mirror. That's just flopping straight off, that glue. You should be able to kind of pull the hair and it not come up. And I do expect this to harden, like to cure, I guess is the right term, over the next half an hour, as long as the temperature remains cool enough. It won't, it's going to get hotter. So that sweat will prevent this from holding properly. Also, did I even glue that lower part of my forehead? I'm not sure. So, hair's really short and going to become suddenly long at the front. It might not be a good look, so that's why I'm saying for the next few weeks. And now I've just noticed, I couldn't even notice until it was on my head that the knots are not bleached properly. You can see, if this phone will even focus, I can't tell if it's focusing. You can see the black dots. They should be blonde. I might even have to swap the hairpiece around, but this is getting back into wearing hair again, so I'm not too worried. You try to send stuff back to these hair companies that send you the hair, and it takes a ridiculous amount of time. Like for me to receive some hair after I've ordered it takes about 2 or 3 months, probably 3 months. Okay, if I order some glue, the cost of sending the glue is about 5 times the price of the glue itself. Okay, this is the reality of it. Unless you're in America, in which you've already got everything in the whole world, you've got every fucking thing anyone would ever dream of, you've got it all, and you're not sharing. And on your TV show, you mention that you're the best, you tell us you've got everything, and you have World Series baseball, which is, you know, it involves the whole world as far as you're concerned. Now that short hair transitioning to this long hair, I'm sure it looks like shit, okay? I will be going back to using the Ultra Hold today. It might even have to be layered over the top of this glue. Now because this glue is so weak, that has no tack. That's not glue at all. I think this spray that I used, the alcohol, just absolutely killed the glue. The other thing is, I didn't use enough layers. And another thing is, I might have needed to clean this hair piece again prior, but with Ultra Hold, none of that would have mattered. It would have just stuck. And yeah, I can't confidently brush my hair like that. It's just going to come off. Okay, so I'll work on this later on in the day. Let's just assume another 3 or 4 hours of work on this, because that's how long it takes to put your hair on. Like I said, take the day off before you apply your hairpiece, because this is the reality of how many problems will occur when you do it, okay? There's like no stick. Okay, I'm gonna just layer some Ultra Hold over the top of this. Even though the hair that I've been provided has absolutely not had bleached knots, which makes it look like doll's hair, but not exactly. But in sunlight, yes, it's disgusting. You need to... I think now that the pores have been sealed over with that other glue. But is that other glue trustworthy enough to hold the ultra hold on top? Hopefully the ultra hold will penetrate through the first glue as well and create part of the primer. That second application of that glue was really easy because the primer was there. So hopefully that will be the case now as well. 1 hour 15 minutes so far. I want to show you how easy it is to apply your hairpiece. Now, this is real life, baby. Outside temperature is currently around 23 degrees Celsius. Humidity is about 90%. Feels like. I don't know, it's just fucking sweaty in here. You should not be in a sweaty room or environment when you do this, but you have no choice unless you want to stay in a fucking ice cream truck for the rest of your life. This is reality. Absolute reality. A normal, fat, Caucasian, bald male, okay? So anything that I go through, your skin probably suffers the same shit. Unless you're really fit and you don't sweat, which is kind of scary for your safety. You probably should sweat. So you're probably thinking, if you're a sports person, you're running and sprinting and jumping and kayaking and falling over and girls are running their fingers through your hair all the time, don't do this. Just shave your head and walk around as a baldy. Unless you want to sacrifice all that and be perved at by girls more often. But obviously, while you're fat, that's less likely to happen. I've got tricks like wearing a shirt over a t-shirt that sort of cover my ass. From anybody understanding how fat I really am. So that, you know, makes it okay if I dress well. I can still get perved on by girls. But when I'm bald, it's an instant look away. Instant. In fact, they would approach me to ask if that guy over there is single. You like how I didn't look over there while I said over there? See, that's from all my years of acting training, showing, being, not showing. Okay? You don't have to play charades when you're talking about something. You say, that guy over there. You don't even have to look in any particular direction. You've already drawn a picture in the audience's minds. But there's no chance of getting any acting work on a fat ass. A bald, fat ass. There's absolutely no chance. I can see them sort of checking on their list of people when I stand up there in front of the camera. I go for a TV commercial. Can you imagine me on a TV commercial in my current state? Not that I dream of being in TV commercials, but it's the only jobs that are going. Television. That my agent sends me to. Maybe I should get a better agent, but I wouldn't dare try while I'm bald and fat. So run, be fit, more energetic. Sleep during night time maybe, although that's very difficult for me. But at least be ready to get up if somebody calls you. And don't be doing this on the same day as you get an audition call. It's a lot of glue. Let's hope it doesn't come off. Now this glue I'm going to leave for a while. So, talk amongst yourselves, do what you got to do. Fast forward this part, because, well, that's the thing, you see. You wouldn't know if I'd fast forwarded or not. I just don't want to hang out here in front of this little phone stuck to a mirror while waiting for my head to dry. My back's hurting, I want a cigarette, maybe a coffee. But look how partially clean my tongue is right now. I did that for you. When you drink coffee, it just makes it furry and disgusting. That probably was pretty disgusting though. Tongues are like armpits basically. You look at, I'm starting to get the whole tit to back joint, and I'm feeling under my armpits because I'm so fucking fat right now. Even my flexing doesn't do enough to tone. I can't even lie in the mirror anymore. No, it's a good day to be putting the hair back on. Time to switch life back around. Start of a new year, back here in time that I'm at. 2016, January 23rd, I think it is today. No, January 24th. Because Australia Day is in 2 days from now, and that's the boat trip. So today is Sunday, but okay. When you start looking in the mirror and you're seeing these bags under your eyes and wrinkles in your face and freckles on your elbows and hair on your ass and fat ass and bald head and everything, you know, it's what's on the inside that counts. I'm joking. Of course it's not. Real life, okay? I was raised by hippies. I was raised by my father, who was a Catholic, until he gave up on me. But those people are filled with sayings. They love their fucking sayings. Alright? Now let me ask you this. What's the definition of insanity? Ah, don't tell him. Yeah, that's right. Doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. Now the same person who loves sayings and doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about will also say, if at first you don't succeed, try again. But they have that same wisdom in their face as they say each of these completely contradictory sayings to you, and yet still nodding with affirmation of their benevolence at giving you such a tremendous gift. The gift of knowledge about how the world works because of that saying, and how they applied it at such a significant time that allowed their brains to access it exactly on cue. Because before it was just sort of sitting around in their brain like a saying that they knew from a list, but now they finally applied it at an important time in one of their friends' lives, which therefore gave themselves a tick in their minds of how good they are and helpful. But they weren't being helpful, were they? Ignore sayings. It doesn't matter if it's a saying that's on a sayings list or if it's just like the meaning of life is different for everybody. Bullshit saying. Things you've heard in exactly the same words by somebody else. Like even how are you? That's a saying, right? Because the word how does not apply to are you in the context of what people sort of are implying that what they mean is describe your mood to me. Or what are you feeling, as opposed to how are you feeling. To say how are you feeling, you're sort of asking how the neurons work. The central nervous system. Getting glue off your fingers, especially ultra hold, is a son of bitch. You know, I wish I didn't do this accent so well, because it make me look like this man who speak like this, cause face look like this. My face matched this fucking voice. Use alcohol today from Walkers. Very fucking strong shit. Yes, look. Buy today. Jeez, I fucking wish. I was hoping to be American movie star motherfucker freeze. But you can't do that with a bald head. Jason Statham. You fucking look at me, mate. You feeling lucky, eh? Are you? Alright. Fucking take some of this. Pfft. Oh, not quite dead, is it? Freeze! Ding 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 ding. This summer. Fuck it. Too lazy these days, or what with all my eating and whatever. You know. It's too much fat to move. Can't be bothered. The couch is so much more comfortable. Just sink right into it. Fucking make me feel nice and relaxed. It does. My fucking back from being fat makes me hurt. I don't know. I'm standing up for this. No, I'm fat already. Starting to worry, starting to regret this. I'm going to be seen by a bunch of potential mating partners. But at this age, they're probably already taken, so fuck up. Yeah, kids. Needs to vote. Pretty late, it's pretty late. It's like 7 in the morning. 7:30. 7:10. 7:11 actually. Fuck me, that was a bit of a pain in the arse, isn't it? Shit. Fucking sticky tape. It's about as sticky as my fucking... You still recording? Just stay. Yep. 87 minutes so far. And this video is probably, I started talking before they even started, so it's at least 9 minutes so far of you watching me doing nothing. Hopefully I've taught you something today. Here on the Stick On Hair Show. What the fuck's happened with this? This wasn't made 2 years ago. It's fucking crazy, that close pick. It's like, no more shadows. I mean, get up there and like that. Oh man, it's sick with these. Oh, it's not. That's one dead blackened tooth. One fat double chin. Really deep wrinkles that weren't dead 2 years ago. Artificial hair on the forehead. Now while I am, don't worry, we only lost 1 second. In fact, I hope it even recorded at all. I think the iPhone just switched itself off when I went to grab it from the side, and I must have hit the power button, but that turned off the fucking movie camera. Anyway, if this is the start of the video that you're watching now, there was a lot more to it before, but thank goodness for you. The iPhone sucks. Okay, unless of course it works, in which case the iPhone still sucks, but in this particular instance, the video was saved, and the stick tape sucks too. It's very difficult trying to engineer things to just fucking stay and work. Just stay there. No more falling. Alright. I'm gonna stick hair. Somebody else's hair. That's too early. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna let you just watch this view and go and have a cigarette, have coffee, and just come back later. The reason I'm doing this is so you can get an idea of how long it took this whole process to happen, okay? It says at the moment it's 1 minute 30 and 18 seconds. Now, this has to dry, okay? I'm doing this as fast as I can. Having a cigarette is 4.5 minutes or so. So I've got to walk to the lighter and all that sort of stuff. So it's 7 minutes, okay? I'll have a coffee. When the cigarette's finished, I will come back. Projector. It's not just projector, it's a screen. It's my 3D printer. I'm doing some robotic stuff. Fuck me, fucking piece of shit, doesn't it? Everything fucking breaks, man. Everything. This thing. You know what? I will I'll put my hair on later and show you the end result or something. I'm sorry about this, it's just so many failed prints because it's this is what happens here on 3D printers. This gets caught in the winder in the feeder. Wow, an iPhone falls over when you try to clean it for filming purposes. Wow, I've never seen that happen before. You're probably wondering how that iPhone's managing to stay where it is. Stay still. The answer is it's sitting on wire, on the cable, rubber covered cable, which is grippy. Fuck. Why does everything have to be so shit? except me. I'm going to put a couple of markers in here so I can see if it makes any progress at all at the other end. Make it so, number one, engage. Yes. Please don't be blocked again. I cannot be bothered taking you apart. You are a fucking nuisance. Fuck, please, please, can you push it, oh yeah. Oh god, that's good. This is squishing so much fat everywhere. Fuck. So fat in this room right now. Look at how I've decided to put my projector screen right in the middle of the room. Pretty futuristic, I think. So was the mess of robot parts and stuff like that. Alright, I will put my hair on, but I will see you later, okay? Is that better? Okay. I think I'm upside down now. I won't have to correct that in post, but 2 minutes 38. This is a realistic amount of time, okay, so far. I just know the day's going to get hotter. It's currently, well, that clock's wrong, 8:23 a.m. So before it gets too hot, before I collapse and fall asleep, I'm not going for a fucking walk, that's just crazy. I will burn calories from eating, I think. So here we go. The glue's had time to dry, and you can see now it's not coming off like it did when I used that nasty purple no sweat product. This is normal behavior now. You see that? If I put this on directly without any alcohol, I must be exact. But there's always some little problem you want to fix. So you've got to put the alcohol on. This weakens the glue, but you press it down, hold it there, probably with a hat, even though you need circulation. If you've got a hat like this, maybe it's good to just push it in so the air can still at least flow. We're going to do it now. Let's do it. Feel me? Good. Okay, take two. You want to know where the middle is? I'm guessing here, but I'll be able to slide around a little bit because of the alcohol. Okay, ready? I'm going to slide it up there with where the glue begins. Put that back there like that, in the middle. And then just pull the sides out. Checking a little bit here. You don't want the hair sticking on into the glue too much at all. That's what makes it nasty. But yeah, it does. But you don't want this bit exposed either. And given that I haven't got any overgrowth there for another month and a half probably, I will have to wear it backwards. By the way, you can touch up the hairline afterwards. In fact, I probably should have just glued all that back and just worked on this afterwards, because it sort of flips back and forward like a lid at that point. Get the hairbrush, flatten it all out against your head, like so. The knots are they're not well bleached at all. This glue, this has run out, but I don't know where the fuck it's gone. Everything just disappears. I must have walked around with it and put it down somewhere before, but this glue is the only glue that works. The only glue that works, okay? The other glues are just basically shit. Even though this glue is not perfect, it's far better. And it's really messy to work with, which is a huge deterrent for people. Now this part here, that's okay. I didn't glue that bit because I didn't know exactly where the hell I was going to be. These little dots here are unacceptable because the manufacturer just fucking didn't bleach it properly. But I will sort of... Okay, so now that I've got hair on my head, I will be able to use the girls thing. So I told you Australians had no good vocabulary. And I will hold that back. Now I can paint on. See, I didn't line it up correctly, or I didn't cut it correctly, or it's in a different position from last time, but nevertheless, I can sort of cut that part out later. You got to be careful when you do cut the netting, because what will happen is you will accidentally cut some of the hairs, even if you try to be careful about it, and you'll have to sacrifice those as well. So cut it a bit less than you think, and then you can trim off the destroyed bits of 1/2 millimeter long hair that you've just cut into accidentally. Otherwise you'll have to cut them off afterwards and you'll have lost far more than you wanted to. Also, I don't recommend using this applicator brush that comes with the glue. Okay, and also I told you about baby wipes, right? You will need them now when you're doing this part. Don't brush up into the netting because that ruins the hair at the base. Makes it all cloggy. And always have baby wipes on hand. You cannot wash this glue off your hand with water and soap, except after a few days it kind of wears off. And your fingers end up kind of dirty like this. Some of that is actually ink. When I was marking the filament to signal how far it had moved through the feeder in my 3D printer, but the rest of that is all glue, and your life will be about glue from now on. Get used to that. Glue everywhere. It's like when I used to be a croupier, I always thought it was about the cards, right? But your mind is more on the chips. So I'll just let that dry for 15 minutes. The hair that I've got back here is too short really for this hairdo or anything, so I will be wearing a hat while the other hair grows around it. But yeah, I don't know if you can see close-ups of this with decent lighting or whatever. Yeah, try that. If you see any black dead ant dots, that's because they did not bleach the knots properly. They must bleach the knots, otherwise it looks shit like that. Okay. And the hair behaves like normal head hair, obviously. And I've grown up with curly red hair, so this is like a dream come true for me. I can do whatever I want with it. It's just like straight person's hair. And you do whatever you want, okay? I'm not gonna do it now because I'm waiting for this to dry and I don't wanna have the glue touch the hairs. Oh yeah, I glued beyond where I'm supposed to, so I'm gonna use that to wipe that. I should have done it while it was wet. Because if you have a sticky forehead, then hairs will stick down onto it, and it doesn't look good. And some of these hairs down here, I might actually pluck some of them out, just to make sure there are no sort of ants. And it's really helpful to have a bench. If you have a kitchen, if you have a bathroom that was built in the same time as this bathroom was, then you'll know that they just thought, yeah, we'll put the taps right up against the sink, because no one would ever run their hands underneath the water. They would fill the basin. And why give anybody any bench space? Because there's nothing you would do with a fucking mirror and a sink ever. So I just don't understand people of the olden days, and even present day. They spend billions of dollars band-aid fixing roads when they could put the whole infrastructure underground instead of jackhammering open a fucking concrete road whenever there's a gas or water leak or something. I just don't understand humanity. It's just ridiculous. And the devouring of corpses, and the whole industry of marching animals into Auschwitz type conditions to fucking die for us. Watch Earthlings at earthlings.com, or YouTube if you're already watching this video anyway. Just go to Watch Earthlings, the documentary, and become a fucking hero, not a sports hero who runs after a fucking ball, right? Go and find the Earthlings documentary, and it will hopefully inspire you to get a fucking weapon and start making some changes around this planet. Okay? It's not the best hairdo. I won't stick that down just yet because it will fuck it up. But I think you'll agree that once that's done, can I get that closer for you, the hairline? I can't see what I'm filming now, but you can see the netting here. How will that survive in the wind? Well, actually, the reason the wind is such a threat is because when I wear it forwards, it flips back with wind, which sort of gives it leverage. Whereas I'm currently quite aerodynamic with my head back. So as long as I could keep this hairline realistic and clean of glue, because you saw what happened to my fingers, right? That can happen all the way along here. Risky, right? That's why it's better and safer just to have those curtains. The other thing that helps you look better is sleep and fake if you're already tanned, then you might as well be bald because that looks fine. Like, if you're tanned, you've had a fucking awesome life. Go and save some animals right now and stop being a prick. But everyone else, pale people, especially redheads. I mean, I'm obviously not red in the head anymore, but I didn't fucking grow these after sunbaking as a black man in the fucking beach, right? I'm a hideous disfiguration mutant from humanity, and when people talk about don't be racist, if you're part of a massive fucking race, you can't be insulted by somebody talking down about your race. But a redhead, we're fucking mutants, okay? And yeah, that's okay, that's fine. It's like Ginga, redhead, right? It's just a terrible thing. It's like, basically, it's a small enough mutation, disfiguration, that it's considered not to be offensive. People can have a good laugh about it without having to worry about getting in trouble from PC police. Political correct police. I'm feeling better already. I will have a look from this footage at what the back and sides look like. But I think it's not going to work until that hair grows. It's fine from the front, when my face gets sleep, but lose some fucking weight first, dickhead. No. I hope this has been informative. I hope you learned all the tricks you need to know about putting some hair on your head. This hairpiece is probably, let's say, $600 for those two big rectangle pieces, right? What should I say? About $550 American. Yeah, so let's say $600 for two, so $300 for one. I get 5 pieces. So that's $60 for this thing here that I've got on my head. Okay, this glue is around $40 or something. So that's 640 American dollars. Then you've got wherever the fuck it's gone, there it is. The adjuster bond, which is just isopropyl alcohol spray, which you can get from the chemist anyway, but that's about $5. So that's 60. What should I say? So about $60 for the hairpiece, $40 for that, so $100, and then $5 for that spray. You'll also need to get this hair removal spray, which is for adhesives like the ones I'm wearing now, the glue that I'm wearing now. They call it adhesive, it means glue. And you'll need a comb, and you'll need ideally tweezers. This is for cleanup stuff, right? Cleanup's just as important to consider as putting it on, okay? Because you have to clean up. You'll need a razor to get the bum fluff off the top of your head. And you definitely need baby wipes. And of course the hair from the dead corpses they dig it up from. And get lace, I recommend. The thinnest lace possible. Easiest to break is better. They're disposable anyway. You don't want thick, durable anything on your head. You want thin, breakable if possible. This doesn't really break well enough. In fact, it's too thick for me. I'd rather it be thin and more break off in pieces as necessary, because then there's no way the wind would ever flip it up, which it can. It won't, because I've just put it on fresh, but I can't be bothered reapplying glue every morning, and it becomes a bit of an obsession. I think a lot of what happens is it gets a bit more dirty because I wear the fringe downwards. If I wore it back like this all the time, and I did it properly, with a proper light and mirror, which never happens. I've positioned this massive fucking light over this mirror for this purpose. Understand? This is not what you see in most bathrooms. In fact, a lot of people think that putting in a light source, if you look in the mirror, above you and behind you is somehow going to be good enough to reflect your face. They're fucking idiots, okay? You need this. Up, facing down, at your head. I look pretty sickly from lack of sleep, don't I? Alright. Yeah, this is the start of wearing hair. This stuff... Okay, here we go. I'll show you how the tweezers work. My fat fingers aren't going to be able to get it out of the way. Okay, so that's gone. Now, I'm just going to simply close that. Make sure my hair doesn't get caught in any forehead glue. And I'll work on cleaning this up properly a bit more later on, and work on styling my hair with some sort of gel or something, I don't know. It's better not to look like it's stuck down to your head, but in this case where the hair is so much bigger right from here than it is there, it's also from back here, as you can see, this is now a flipping hazard. I could peel this off, it'll peel off that way, but normally it doesn't peel from that way because my other hair is coming over, you see. So you can imagine if I had other hair on my head, this would be quite quite good. Okay. And there you have it, a full head of hair. I hope you, if you're bald, get a full head of hair too. And until better technology comes along, this is the best.